today inside the program, Radio Democracy go talk to member of parliament and from different party them. We go talk about the country economy as President Bill go 4 years in our office inside April this year.
So the wage bill now 3.9 trillion. We now the highest now the sub-region. The wage bill account for 2020 budget. The wage bill account for 59% of the local revenue. Meaning the money we government they gather in the country. 59%, almost 60% of at the camp of the local revenue. And ask yourself, what thing they use the wage bill for? Why the wage bill go up? What thing are the reason? Members say they may not make commitment, say they go reduce the wage bill, where they can and go make the wage bill sustainable. But what thing they do, we increase the wage bill. Then form extra 5 new ministries. You don't condemn wage bill. Why you for form more ministries where you expend more money? Then make sure say one, the Ministry of Finance, then get 2 deputies. The Ministry of Social Welfare, Children and Gender, then separate them into 2 ministries. Ministry of Education, then separate them. Ministry of Lands and Environment, then separate them. Then create also the Ministry of Western Region. We have 5 extra ministries. All the ministries then you get forgive them budgetary allocation. Quite apart from that, then create more departments and agencies. Look what they do. Then create the National Investment Board. Then create the National Water Resources Management Initiative. Then create the Wages and Salary Commission. Then create the National Monitoring and Evaluation Department. Then create the Strategic Advisory Group on Emergencies. Then create also the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation. Then create the Independent Commission of Peace and National Cohesion. Then create also the National Sport Authority. Then create the National Council for Civic Education and Development. Then create the Sierra Leone Seed Certification Agency. Then create the National Disaster Management Agency. Then create also new embassies them. Embassy in Egypt, and embassy in other countries. And even at the Ministry of Finance, they employ advisors then. The way then they give $5,000 every blessed month. Then all the embassies the way Salone again at the whole country, then send deputy ambassadors then they. So it go increase the wage bill. It make the wage bill where they meet then double and then they add on top and back. So now the wage bill law for 2020, when I know the financial year will end, where they can go budget for the wage bill now 3.9 trillion. We're very unimaginable. But we ask them, then go put and say, na teachers.
So this now I want to say we get at the report on the budget and 2020 budget presentation or 2021 budget presentation. Now one way I've been attend, we get debate from different civil societies and different stakeholders now the budget. But now you don't mention different sectors then at the budget ranging from the fiscal and monitoring policy. Now look at what you don't highlight the wage bill. The Minister of Finance, when they launched the 2021 budget discussion, he agree, or 2022 budget discussion, be agree, say yes, the wage bill they up. But this wage bill where they up, the money where they spend now on teachers and also the money they go to agencies, the money they create, where they think is necessary for run the states. Assessing then state institutions that way they create, what you go say about the significance and the couple where they go to them?
First, the law look at teachers, yeah. They say they employ 5,000 new teachers, yeah. Most of them teachers, then the way they employ now pin codes, then give them, they know they receive salary. But for the sake of argument, law assume say they only receive salary. 5,000 teachers, and law assume say then they pay them 1 million each among that 5,000 teachers. Where you times 5,000 by 1 million, now 5 billion. You times some by the entire year when at 12 months, now 60 billion. You times some by 3 years, now 180 billion for teachers, 180 billion for teachers. We are talking about the increment of 2 trillion extra where they can add. They meet 1.9 trillion, they add 2 trillion. So now it don't go 3.9 trillion. So to me, not to teachers then, the law assumes say the 5,000 teachers them and the 1 million unions, it not even reach 200 billion. Now 180 billion for the entire 3 years, 9 years. So not to teachers them.
Apart from the teachers them, now we look at the nurse system again, where government say they don't add into the payroll and don't give them PIN code.
Of course, not to today them begin add per nurse system money. And to me, I see and say any existing structure where in the car on an increase salary increment, not to today, it always don't they take place. Yeah. So now the new institutions the way they come from, new ministries, departments, and agencies the way they come from, advisors then have various ministries the way they can take, new embassies the way they come from, deputy ambassadors then are all the I wonder what thing will be the work of the head of chancelleries now the embassies then.
Deputy position there so we then come from according to you and employ certain people now different government ministry and agency them as advisor them. According to your party point of view, una think say them people are really essential and they help into government work or not just a way for create job for people and maybe will be support the party or party supporter them?
The more way they add then, the more the economy they bad off. The more way they add then, the more things they go behind. The more way they add there, say Sierra Leone, the economy of 2018 is far better than what we see now. So where you they add institutions then now for create improvement in the economy. Now for make sure say you create rooms for them now the economy. But where you they add then now more the economy they go behind. So definitely say now for make sure say they employ the one that will support them in elections. Now that make them create their ministries then that make them create their deputy embassies.
Another side of the debate go say this now employment for more Salone people. You know, I agree with that.
But you know go employ Salone people and say you go use all your local revenue, 59% of your local revenue, just for pay salary no more. After you remove debt service in the for run the state, they even get 20% of your local revenue for run the state. Meaning if other country not support you, they run you, they will run your own country. Now that makes Salone is highly dependent on foreign aid. And not so than they no more. The most crucial thing are the debt, public debt. When SLPP been kind of power, they say APC government don't trust money, they don't broke down the country. By then, they even make commitments now the manifesto. Part 2 of the New Direction Manifesto, page 14. They say the New Direction will introduce a practice of annual debt ceiling beyond which governments cannot borrow. So meaning then they say, with them canapa, that then get a certain amount, we then go trust for the month, for the year. We then pass that amount, they're not they go again for any debt. But listen, what's in happen.
Good morning, Salone. In certain edition, we look at President Bio in 4 years in office and the strive we don't do for improve on the economy. And they expect Honorable Suleiman Mare Conte from constituency 130 for can represent the Salone People's Party. The program na Good Morning Salone we come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We still get with studio guest Honorable Abdul Kagbo from constituency 077. They inside the program they represent the All People's Congress Party APC. Now the program and today we look at the economy as President Bio the 4 years inside April this year. How far the government don't go for improve the economy? Abdul Kagbo they inside the program for talk on them. And Honorable Kagbo, earlier before we go for that break, you've been to talk about the debt. But before we go to that debt, let's look at the wage bill we earlier talk about, and look at the ministries and agencies them we created where you think say you get issue with. If Abdul Kabo now they in charge, which ministries or which agencies then among the other creates you go eliminate or you think enough for exist?
I will eliminate it all. Because
why?
Because one, you don't condemn the wage bill, say the wage bill over bloated at 1.9 trillion. And say the more you create new ministries, departments, and agencies, it will affect the wage bill. Most of the functions of the new ministries there have been they under the old ministries them. You see, like for example, waiting at the responsibility of the Western Region Ministry. We make them can get resident minister now because the seats of government na tom, na Freetown. So you need government presence now the other regions then they. Now that make them can get resident minister for able. But outside president, they outside everybody, you don't need a Western Region Ministry, you see. And also the Ministry of Education, you divide them into two, The Ministry of Finance, you get two deputy. Ministry of Social Welfare, you divide them back into two. You see, so you find out say most of the new ministries them where they create now for just make sure say they get people away for be ministers.
Remember, you
na
know,
the
things
ministries
say
them
some
dey.
of them ministry they are so be they underperform due to the workload. We make governments anything and they be decide say let we shape their ministry they are so and give each and every person in own responsibility so that they go able for deliver.
You don't assess all the ministries then they and you don't confirm say then they perform more than the way them in they perform previously. The answer is definitely no. You see, because you they create more ministries, you they look at your budget, you understand. You know they strangulate your budget for create more ministries. Sometimes then they, for example, if you they run a business, you get 5 staff where they run the business, and you they grumble say you don't get money for pay them. You they multi-tax them, you they give them more responsibility, let them do, and at the same salary where they pay them. Instead of you say, hey, the money where they pay me staff them pass Marco. But like I employ back, you can employ other 6 staff them. Then you the government say money, no they for pay them.
But then go say then they in line of government top priority programs them like the education, gender and women business, government commitment for environment and other areas them make them create agencies and sub ministries them for ensure say then deliver on government promises.
Again, you go ask yourself, waiting at the new thing where the ministries, departments, and agencies then they don't introduce. You see, and up till now, government is strangulating because if government they use 59% of the local revenue on budget on wage bill, and interestingly, all the organizations that we been they support we budget don't stop for support the budget. Now only World Bank now in the support budget now. EU don't stop, ADB don't stop, all other organizations don't stop. Now only World Bank now in the support we budget. So meaning if World Bank not give we money for any AI, possible say we know the able run we country because most of the money don't go for pay salaries, they don't go for debt servicing.
All right. In case you just tune in, the program now Good Morning Salone, and they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. Today, now the program Radio Democracy don't begin for assess President's bill in 4 year in our office as April 4 this year go make 4 year, and we start with the economy. We invite the political party them now Parliament. Osai Honorable Abdul Kabo for constituency 077. They represent Kafobulom and Lokomasama Chiefdom na Potoko district. And they represent the All People's Congress. And we expect Honorable Marie Conte from constituency 130 na Freetown for can represent the Salone People's Party. All right, we continue the program. Good morning, Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We continue with the program, and we still get Honorable Abdul Kabro, we're a member of Parliament for constituency 077 Akafo Bulom and Lokomasama Chiefdom inside Port Loko District. Honorable, earlier we don't talk about the wage bill. I bring you now to another important issue where they help in terms of the economy, when the exchange rates. When you look at the new direction, manifesto, they talk about low, stable, competitive exchange rates through increasing exports. And one of the things that the new direction manifesto be promised say if they can have power inside 2018, now then thing they also then go do for make sure say they stabilize the exchange rates where according to the NTND it be go up. Compare the NTND 2018 to now. How you go assess the exchange rates and how the new direction manifesto don't able to come into play in this area.
Wait till you read so now page 18, page 15 of the new direction manifesto. Then talk about the exchange rate management. Now there you get some of the microeconomic variables that were then state. In 2007, where APC can have power, the exchange rate mean they are around 4,376 leons. Yeah, it increased in 2017 to 7,541 leons. Now increase. That's for 10 years of APC. The exchange rate increased by 3,165 leons. Come to SLPP from 2018, from 2018 now, the exchange rate may be 7,541 leons. It increased to almost 12,000 leons. Yeah. So in just 3 years, then they increased the exchange rate to 6,341 leons. We almost double waiting APC be increase the waiting how the exchange rate may increase under APC. It almost double just in 3 years, not to 10 years. Oh. And in economics, we get what we call trend analysis. Trend analysis, you dey assess 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, then you dey guess wetin get for happen in the future. I dey tell you, if SLPP no come on power 2023, the exchange rate it will be wahala. Because 3 years they don't double, wetin mean they exist for 10 years. Yeah, so the exchange rate, in fact, now in they affect every other thing, even the fuel price, even the other increment in commodities. Now the exchange rate.
The defense now that during the entire way they call Salone be the exports plenty, like the minerals them mining be they go on way Salone they export and other things them. But now as it is, the iron ore price fall way Salone they export.
3 occasions, then don't succeed forget single digits. In 2013, the exchange rate was, the inflation was 8.23. In 2014, now be 9.80. In 2015, now be 8.30. But under this dispensation, we not ever get single digits.
Honorably, in your analysis, them you they take COVID and other health emergencies to consideration?
In fact, during COVID, now we get plenty money we can inside this country. Now we get lots of hate we can inside this country. And where I go to the debt analysis, you go see what here they talk. During COVID, most of the countries there, they stop for take debt. Now during COVID, now we take the highest debt. Now during COVID, we move from moderate risks of debt distress to high risks of debt distress.
So things say the COVID situation self just like any other country them at the world where we don't they see over the news they talk about the damages them where the COVID-19 pandemic caused to the economy. If it's not the same thing they affect Salone economy back. The
worst it's where we economy don't ever get. That we go even there was a shock in the GDP growth rate. It go even to -19, the GDP growth rate. Now where we get the Ebola, they will get the reduction in the price of iron ore. That is the worst hit we don't ever happen to the economy. Yeah. So COVID, the hit of COVID, not even compared to waiting be happen. But let's take time, law go through the public debt. Yeah. We basically now the manifesto SLPP been toxic. Public debt very, very, very much high, and then go ensure say they introduce a debt ceiling. In 2018, when SLPP came power, the public debt now been 17.83 trillion. 17.83 trillion. In 2020, because our 2020 budget now I use for analyze. In 2020, they raise them up to 30.71 trillion. 30.71 trillion. So meaning in the 10 years of APC, because APC made public debt at 2.78 trillion and they raise them up to 17.83 trillion. In the 10 years of APC, the public debt now been 15.04 trillion in the 10 years of APC. Just in these 3 years of SLPP, the public debt rise to 13 trillion in 2020. And even the project and say in 2021, it will go to 14.3 trillion. So just in the SLPP 3 years, public debt don't go to 14.3 trillion. Whilst in the 10 years of APC, public debt now been 15.04 trillion. Just a mere difference of less than 1 trillion. And quite apart from that, what I do, I take into consideration we last census, we say we get about 7 million people left. And I distribute this debt among the 7 million people that will get. If everybody for contribute for law will pay the debt to Salone get, everybody for give $425. So if you get a picking self, now for tell and say this government don't lead me to a debt, we now $425 for each Sierra Leonean, now will for pay. In 2019, they named 15 sub-Sahara countries them, where they classify, they say then the high risks of debt distress. Sierra Leone not been there. Sierra Leone not been there among. Just in 2020, we reached 2.25 billion in 2020. Yeah, we make the most indebted country. Yeah, and now we external debt in dollars now $2 billion. We domestic debt now $1.1 billion, and we total debt that now for 2020 budget now $3.1 billion. And not ever, in fact, West Africa Monetary Zone Then they advise all nations say them public debt not for exceed 65% of the GDP. But as they talk so, Salone, we public debt right now 77% of the GDP.
Then that's the way they talk about, so honorable. The New Direction Manifesto, they talk about access concessional loans with low interest rates and long grace period. Not all the same thing apply in the debts there, we don't analyze so.
Well, where you do, Khadija, sorry, where you go for debt, you for ensure say you use them for do something na your country. Yeah? Then kind high debt there we get so na this country. We're not for the struggle again for electricity. We're not for the struggle again for good roads. We're not for the struggle again for water. We're not for the struggle again for social amenities. Yeah? But this kind of debt we get, in fact, now the sub-region, now we get the highest debt. Yeah? With this kind of debt we get, we still the struggle for electricity, we still the struggle for water, we still the struggle for, in fact, waiting go interest now. You know, even the budget where they can go na parliament, them put money for some roads them where the contractors then don't demobilize. The token road, still money they then put money the 2019, 2020, 2021, they allocate money where the contractors they're not even then at the road again. They don't pack all the equipment, they don't come on at the road. But still government they put money there. You understand? Waiting and they do with the money. You see? So you get for look at the debt rate and they take, you get for analyze, but then say, where they take that, let them see and pay you. Me and you will struggle right now for all the social amenities.
Honorable, you not in a governance, you party the opposition, but you like key stakeholder or you party like key stakeholder because most of them that year na parliament can ratify most of the agreement there. So whose role will they play as parliamentarians them for salvage the situation as you'd explain now?
Yes, of course. One thing wale no me dey na governance, becoming a member of parliament. Now I dey na the legislative arm of government. Yeah. Parliament always where them go with the budget, with the debate them. Where we debate them, you go criticize, you go pinpoint, but parliament, everything subjected to vote. Everything subjected to vote. Before they approve them, we get for vote. And when we the vote on and the majority always they carry the day in parliament. And you see how we majority be transformed to minority by virtue of court order. So basically we go talk, but we no go ever win vote based on we numbers in the parliament.
All right, we continue with the program where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. That's now Honorable Abdul Kabo. They represent constituency 077 Akafobulom. Today na the program where they look at the country economy as President Biogo 4 year in office April 4th. Where they continue for look at different sector there or they bring people in for can assess the sector there. So continue with the program. Good morning, Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We continue the program and today we they look at the country economy as President Bio on April 4th, go 4 year in office, and we don't begin for talk to member of parliament them where they represent the APC and the SLPP party. And earlier will be supposed to forget Honorable Marie Conte, when a member of parliament for constituency 103 in Afritonia. They cover Aberdeen, Mornington, and other area them. But able for come na the studio. And they get him now on the phone for let go give the SLPP position as na the day in governance and President Biogo 4 year inside April this year.
The program Good Morning Salone they continue as we still try to get Honorable Suleiman Marie Conte online. We go continue for look at issues inside the program. Now we gonna cut.
All right, we continue the program Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We continue the program and we still get Honorable Abdul Kabo with we in the studio as today inside the program where they look at the country economy.
Khadija, we don't get Honorable for the Marie online.
All right, we dey go na studio now as we dey try forget Honorable Marie Conte and he dey with we na the phone now na constituency 130 they represent. Hello, Honorable. Good morning and welcome to the program Good Morning Salone. Hello. All right, we dey come over to Honorable Abdul Kawo. We don't talk about the public debt. We don't talk about the wage bill. Now, let we look at the access to finance within the same New Direction Manifesto. They look at today for compare to waiting President Bill been talk during the in campaign 2018 to the reality on ground now. Access to finance. Now, one way stand out in the New Direction Manifesto, we dey look at the economic reforms them where they inside the New Direction Manifesto. This access to finance and the reality on ground now, one common slogan where the citizen they talk now the issue of the ground dry. Business people they grumble for the the exchange rates, the taxes them where then they pay according to them very high, and this hardship where the people then say on the ground. I go link the two, the access to finance and that one day.
One thing every government for know, now that government get the new responsibility, and now for cushion the financial burden on the mere Sierra Leoneans. Yeah? I remember saying that the New Direction Manifesto, they oppose the All People's Congress government, say we get so many tax waivers them, we know they give tax. Now because now being Combra government. Combra government in the sense, he looking people them, he say no, this law reduce this tax, law reduce this tax, law reduce this tax.
The producer and they make signs say we don't get Honorable Marie Conte on the phone. Hello, Honorable. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salone. Hello, Honorable. Good morning. All right. Hello, Honorable. Good morning. Could they get some challenges them for get Honorable Marie Conte na the studio, and we will try for get time or they take a music break. We'll come back, we'll continue with the program. Good morning, Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. You can send me a message on 077 981 981, or if you watch on our Facebook page, drop your comments in the comment section, and you go able for add your voice to the program this morning. We look at the country economy as President Bill on April 4th go 4 year. All right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salone. As we will struggle for get Honorable Marie Conte at the phone, and we get now at the studio the National Publicity Secretary for the Salone People's Party, Lahai Lawrence Lima. We don't come for give the position of the ruling SLPP party. As today at the program, we deal with the economic situation, and we start for talk to member of parliament. Them we get the APC Honorable Abdul Kago, and we expect Honorable Marie Conte, but the publicity secretary there now for give the position of the SLPP government. I believe say you don't listen the program. Honorable Abdul Kago be open the discussion. We talk about the bloated wage bill. We don't talk about the public debt, and we don't talk about access to finance. But firstly, let us take them step by step. The area of the wage bill, increase in new ministries, departments, and agencies, them, and plenty other deputy them, where according to Honorable Abdul Kago, now just a way for create job for SLPP supporter them.
Well, firstly, I want to say I just the Comorille upline, and the CAM are fortunate for day within when I just tuned to 98 and I listen. I check on Honorable Mario Conte, say he was not early informed and he did on the way. Well, so when he did within, I can for correspond to some of the issues then. The reason are they in this attire where I come actually for can respond to some of the issues then where I not say they are not true. And now talking about wage bill, of course, every political party where they transform into government, part of your manifesto programs them where they talk about job creation. And you know they just create job because you want for create job for put people in offices. You they create job based on necessities. And before we become a government, of course you get civil society organizations, you get the public people raise issues on certain activities within the state where for make the state run effectively as a country. And for like you get an effective system of governance, you get for create line ministries and agencies we fit in to them programs and they for able for make sure say governance program runs smoothly. Now in terms of creating new ministries, there are certain issues them within the state will require ministries for be created for able for address policy issues. Let's take, for instance, the Environmental Protection Agencies, we then end up for transform into into ministry. Of course, we don't get a very serious environmental challenges where if then they meet as a global community for let able for discuss policy issues, then would it affect the environment? Sometimes Sierra Leone they out because those discussions really require policy steps, policy measures. Leaving it as at an agency level. Of course, the director of the agency not able to attend cabinet, therefore they're not able to take certain policy measures. So it's prudent for make you create a ministry of that nature, where of course that particular domain is very much prudent for make you able to get that kind of ministry for be created for address some of those issues. So at global level, you get the minister for attend and also address a lot of policy issues on environmental concerns. And when it come also, it get for reduce some of those concerns and take them to cabinet and also develop policy issues on them. We're going for help with environment and improve one. And so then you talk, for instance, also the disaster management agencies as well we then create. Over time, we don't see how disaster they affect people in this country. We get proper and effective management. With the creation of these disaster management systems, then they don't help a lot for able to address some of those disaster challenges they get. First of all, the early response, the coordination of team for make sure say the impact not really that much affect the survivors or people that they struggle out of as a result of some of that, or for even mobilize resources for make sure say we cushion the effect on the people. And so these are very much pertinent for let government think a way out of the tight schedule we get for make sure say we expand so that we're able to address some of them concerns and they forget an effective society.
Defending some of the agencies the way government creates, we Honorable Abdul Kagbu say then get issue with. Let we look at the Ministry of Western Area, where people still wonder what's the role of this ministry, where Nayana the seat of government, and from the creation of the ministry still house na state house. What you can defend saying the role and significance of the Ministry of Western Area?
The very role and significance of the resident minister in North, South, East, the very essence also forget the Western Area resident minister.
But this is not the seat of power, everybody there.
That does not mean the seat of power as well. It's not in the North, it's not in the West. You also get line ministries that would affect. You get certain local issues where need for be addressed as a government body, and therefore you get forget that line ministry where they liaise between government and the people, and that is why, because this is the seat of power, the Western Area Regional Ministry would then create. In fact, it gets a cabinet status. We mean say if for the attend cabinet, where some of the issues then where you go say something the city mayor now they go cabinet for address. Now I make them get a very strong synergy. So issues and where they affect people within the Western area, where of course require government attention, where maybe it forget some kind of constraint for go through the Ministry of Local Government. The Western Area Minister will get cabinet position can directly address some of those issues at cabinet level in terms of policy decisions. They take strong policy measures at cabinet level.
Some of them ministry and agency they are so a new other position they like deputy minister 1, deputy minister 2, where presidents be being creates. Now one way the new direction manifesto where government be used for campaign during 2018, but they speak about it, they will try to minimize the wage bill. And if I can take you back to the tandem where you party the SLPP be in opposition, you know one person been so vocal, they come out, they talk about some of their issues there. But some of their issues there, so we be they condemn during the intending day. Now some of the issues they again all day today they talk about. And most people believe say some of their issues that don't happen past how it been day.
Well, that's not true. Like say it don't happen past how it been day. Now, in the first place, the APC actually been get a bloated cabinet who they not be able to manage. In the first place, the APC government run government of this country where they go bank overdraft. Then they pay people. In fact, like NASIT almost broke down because they go bank overdraft, almost exhaust NASIT fund, not able to pay people. Now, the SRPP not just creates offices, but at least they're able to create budget for their offices. Then they make sure say their office and they so run effectively and they are functional. And
You
up to
say
this
dem
time, I
create
dey come.
budgets, Honorable,
I dey
you say
come.
dem create budgets, but I just want to bring you to a concern where this new Ministry of Western Area during the time when they discuss budget, we hear the permanent secretary in that particular ministry, they cry say even stapler they not get for let they able for do their work them.
Well, me not hear that. Me not go respond to something we actually me not hear. And that make when they do budget hearing, every ministry they go for good defend in budget, and they call civil society organizations. So I cannot subscribe to what I have not heard. And until that evidence is placed before me, then I know what is the reason why no go don't get stapler. Because if you not properly budget for certain things, there is no way where the budget come you want for actually direct the money into that. Government budgeting, you put them before the Ministry of Finance, they approve them, and when it comes now within that you get for work and able for address some of your priority concerns them.
So, Lim,
and so yes.
Let's look at the creation of the ministries, departments and agencies then, and also the impact on the wage bill where no to secrets. And according to Abdul Kabo, in your research you say the wage bill they as of 2020 3.9 trillion.
For like you, I tell you for say every government or party with the form government, the first priority, you get a priority of doing what we call job creation. Every year, university they turn out graduates them. How many private sectors we get in this country for able to employ people them? And at the same time, also you need certain government functions then for make the state run effectively. You get for create certain offices then for make the able for help the state for run effectively and make human life improve or the condition of human life improve. There is no way you get for outstretch certain line ministries or agencies. Need they for create some? Yes, you create some. One thing we are glad for, we Honorable Abdul Kabo, they talk about 59% of the local revenue being expended on salary. That is a plus for this government. We mean say we know they go overdraft for exhaust other public financial institutions then for pay salary. We also they add up to the debt burden of the government or the state. That is one thing we are happy about. And another thing also I want to make mention of Naya. Now, the debt burden will be the try for talk about. You know, APC inherits this country with an economy of 552 billion. And in 3 months, that money was nowhere. This country then they inherit money and then left with all the mining, export, everything where this country be produce. APC left this country in austerity. And we took the economy almost at the brink of collapse. We were able, out of prudent economic management and rationalization, we were able to make sure say we roll out we flagship project and also able to increase certain ministries and budgets them. And we're able to achieve all of that. And as at this period also, we use local revenue for still pay salary without any bank overdraft. This is a plus on this government. And as I speak here, so the debt to APC left for this country, the SLPP is paying that debt every month because that's now one of the conditionalities of the IMF for able for meet for make sure say we pay them debts then the way APC left for this country. So this country, I mean this SLPP government under President Bio, we don't do extremely well that we inherit the governance with almost a zero economy. We're able to make sure say prudent economic management and rationalization of the economy. We're able to roll out to flagship project. Now we are paying the debt that the APC left upon this nation. And we still pay salary without overdraft.
Making reference to IMF, Khadija, quickly, making reference to IMF, and we see inside 2021, IMF give debt relief service to Salone, we mean say they left some of the debt them way Salone gets. Which debts the Salone government still pay?
Sierra Leone government, for let them release debt, let them give a debt relief does not mean you know they pay debt. Of course, if you get for pay up to 70% of debt and then give debt relief, if not 25% debt relief then give, does not in any way mean say the remaining percentage of debt not be paid. And you know, as much as I know, it's not a hidden secret that this government is paying a debt every month where it day upon this country. I may, because I just rush into the program, I may not be too exact, but it's about either 25 million every month or 25 billion. I may not be exact on that, but this government is paying debt. Debt burden way upon this country. This government is paying that every month, and that is a commitment of this of President Bio in government. And at the same time, there are international organizations that we are a member of. where we don't make Sierra Leone don't shut out of the international stage because we not pay contributions there. This government don't make sure, say, out of prudent economic management, we are also now paying our subscriptions to those organizations. We don't make Sierra Leone as a country and as a government, we are recognized and we are allowed to participate in some of the functions of those organizations. Now, because of the effectiveness of this government in terms of managing the resources of this country.
Lima, you say the SLPP government take the economy at the verge of collapsing, and every month now still they pay debts them. With the present situation of the country now, with the issues them where citizens then they complain about, how you can describe the economy at this point?
I want to say this government don't do well, in the sense that firstly we inherit a collapsing economy. We try for stabilize and able to make sure we roll out with flagship project, and we not even get to feet on the ground. Corona struck. Corona struck because of also the seasoned technocrats that will get now the Ministry of Finance and other line agencies under that particular ministry who still able to manage the economy of this country, where it means people still get access to resources, people still get access to goods and services, and that's they're not able for staff at all. With all the global crisis, in fact, the way and manner it hit other countries, then we're able to manage that and make sure say the burden, the conditions of life is really not that much bad off as we experienced during the period of Ebola, where even lead the economy into almost austerity. So if we don't able to do them managements, then they, and at the same time, look, we just not even end Corona. Look at the other crisis that is going on in the world. Look at the Ukraine and Russia war. That is not only affecting those two countries, but it affects the world, even America, in terms of the supply of gas and fuel. So that is not only affecting Sierra Leone. So let nobody not make political issues out of that. I think as a responsible political party, they should be able to join force with government. Those issues were created by global crisis. Let we sit down and let we citizens there understand their issues. Then they, when we come to political policy, public policies, them, who say government they perform better, you come on those issues. But those issues when a global crisis, or not to the making of government, a responsible political party, they join up with government for make sure say the citizens and get the real message.
Continue for the week in the program in Lahai Lawrence Lima in the National Publicity Secretary for the Salone People's Party. We continue with the program. Good morning, Salone. We continue the program. Good morning, Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM, and they extend the program to more 15 minutes as we still get Honorable Abdul Kagbo and Lahai Lawrence Lima with we in the studio. Today na the program as we tell na earlier, where they look at the country economy as President Biogo 4 years in office inside April this year.
The program is still listening to a Good Morning Salone with the council from 90.1 FM with the council Honorable Abdul Kagbo. But quick one for follow up to Lahai Lawrence Lima. Earlier, Lawrence Lima make mention of the COVID situation, and also you make mention of the issues where they happen around the world. During the term them we government they make, or we will not be the opposition, they make them promise here, will not be take on foreseen circumstances into consideration.
Certainly. Of course, every government where you come na power, you must go for look forward to things that we maybe not within your scope of manifesto commitments. Then we at least we don't think they come, you go for take care of. And of course, much as we look at them and then I make you see say government able for put in technocrats then in place, we make sure say the burden not really pressure on the people of this country. And whatever it is, given the circumstances, we don't able to get access to goods and services amidst even the crisis where they go on at the world. And one of the things also we have been the talk way escape my mind when we talk about even the increase in wage bill. Don't forget also this government don't try for also now even they pay salaries to some offices them under the past administration way actually been they exist in shadows way will not been they even know how that money they go. You take also even a look at also the university lecturers as well, we don't include now the wage bill. All of them they also they increase the wage bill, and a very much pertinent for make sure say an essential component of the country staff na this country for make they actually they able to get their salary on time and able for make sure say they utilize the money within they get other than where them be on their own. We sometimes go take time for make they able to get access to
make already Lahai Lawrence Lima and come with Honorable Abdul Kagbo. Honorable, you don't get from Lahai Lawrence Lima And we don't make you points them earlier regarding wage bill, we see over bloated, regarding the exchange rate, they on high speed now, and also other issues them. And one thing, Honorable, beg your pardon, one thing Lahai Lawrence Lima point at now that during the tenure of the APC, being left the country into austerity.
Let me make a few corrections. The discussions for them be more informative. If women don't get member of parliament here, because now they play with the budget, I they talk with facts and figures. Always here they talk now waiting they inside the budget, and the way they talk, they quote the figures, they quote the year exactly. You understand? But I find it difficult with the minister because basically, go down privilege to some of the documents they play with in the parliament. Yeah. Firstly, let me make few corrections. The minister say then convert the Environmental Protection Agency to ministry because the executive director not being able to attend cabinet and not being able to decide on cabinet issues. Pass get possible go there. Let me make this correction. The Environmental Protection Agency still not agency. They not ever convert them to ministry. The Ministry of Environment na new ministry with them form where they work with EPA. EPA na agency under the ministry. Yeah, not to the EPA then convert to ministry. Then second, they come, Mr. Minister. Second, he talk about APC, they go for bank overdraft, for pay salaries. Yeah. Let me just make you see, now I been say I need a member of parliament who is well informed about the issues. Then get they come, Mr.
Lahai Lawrence
Minister,
Lima, Honorable Abdul Kagbo making points.
Allow me.
This.
Allow me.
Now for listeners, them we they do them
now
program.
The
Now for make
respect
them go
of
get them
listeners,
better.
I make us say
And we
for
no
let this
want
conversation
that
for
kind
them be
debate there.
informative.
Honorable Kagbo, you're on your point.
Okay.
You're on your leg. Go ahead.
Now, if you go na the website of the Ministry of Finance, then get waiting them call ways and means. Na bank lending, na bank borrowing, na trust where this government they trust na bank. Now they refer to as ways and means. At the end of 2020 fiscal year, then trust 21 billion 160 million leons. Nine then trust. You understand? And then get a closing balance, a current closing balance of 213 billion we repayable in the ensuing years. That in other years then for pay. Now money where this government trust na bank. So where this government they make like say they not they trust na bank. Yeah. They talk with facts and figures. Now logo able now on our website look at our bank borrowing. Go to the Ministry of
Lahai Lawrence Lima.
They disturb una tell her le allow. They disturb. Una protect me.
We had 15 minutes.
Hey boy, you don't know the studio. You don't know the studio. Me they talk with facts and figures. I know they talk about the blues.
Please, Lord, just
Yes, Lord will go to the fuel crisis. Yeah, the fuel crisis is say na global issue, and no party we sober, not for politicized global issue. Rest na global issue, not so we they produce rest. So rest na import we the import rest. Na global issue. So you get a lot of global factors them where they affect the price of rice. But you remember the 2018 presidential budget, the presidential debate, by then where the current president was a flag bearer. He said APC has brought untold suffering on the people. They brought the price of rice for a mere 60,000 to 200,000. Regardless of the fact that rice was imported from another country to Salone. Yeah, so now then begin politicize global issues, forgetting that way then can power the price of rice go be skyrocketed. Yeah, and despite of that, let tell you, fuel ever go up. The highest way fuel long go up now the world market now been 2008. Yeah, at the camp 2008. Now fuel may not go up to $145 per barrel, 2008. But by then, because you get government we get sorryat, you get government we elect the people, government mean they subsidize. So the people will not feel the pinch of the increment in the global market. Yeah. Right now where they talk, fuel now $105 per barrel, which is far cheaper than what it were in 2008. And I tell you, then they say now global. But even Guinea, where they near we, they don't ever increase fuel price. In fact, when Dumbuya Kana power, a meet fuel at 11,000 Guinean francs, a reduce am to 10,000 Guinean francs. So in all these increments what they make, now because government choose for remove subsidy per fuel.
Let bring you to the area of reducing the cost and risk of doing business. Where now one area than the way the new direction manifesto speak about. And recently we just said the importer them being lock shops. They raise concern about high tax system where they say the business environment not favorable to them. How you go link this particular area where they talk about reducing the cost and risk of doing business in Sierra Leone to the reality on ground now?
Now I make us say government you forget Soriat for you people them. Yeah. In fact, the importers then they pay GST. Now the key for everything where then they come with, then they pay GST. Now the key. Yeah, so then they include the price of the people the way they can buy wholesale. Then they include for the retailers then. Yeah, the way you go back, you go collect all that GST back now the retailers then. To me, na tax burden. And quite apart from that, law will take into cognizance waiting happen now the electricity sector. Yeah, when SLPP come, then go renegotiate with car powership. APC mean they pay 16 cents per kilowatt hour. Where APC mean they pay 19 cents per kilowatt hour. Where SLPP come, then go negotiate, they reduce her to 16 cents per kilowatt hour. So for every 2 years, SLPP mean they save $18 million because they don't make new arrangements, they don't renegotiate the price, they don't reduce the cost. So that mean they save $18 million. Out of that money, the way then they save, now they then go increase the electricity tariff almost 3 times. First now been 592 leons, they reduce them to 1,560 something leons. So they increase, even though then they save money out of the negotiations the way they don't do, they still end up for increase the electricity burden by the people left. So any government will not react because you don't save money, you they say no, let's help me people.
React by all they go on a pocket.
And listen,
left the country
the difference between me and other debaters are they talk with facts and figures.
Honorable,
are they quote ears, are they quote the amount.
Honorable,
yes, sir.
Lahari Lawrence Lima, please.
You know they tell me
this
say the
program
line
will
up.
moderate.
You know they talk so.
Honorable, now we look
No,
at
you need to talk so.
Honorable. You don't talk about the issues them, and you don't talk about the issues and what's in the affect Salone people them for almost 1 hour 30 minutes now. Now, as now we look at the way
Now
forward,
we
what do
want
you
to
think say now the way forward in all of this?
One, the way forward. Now that government for put people there at the center of the decision making. Now then people there dance for this government too. Now then people there sing for this government. Now then people there go under rain for the government. So any decision where you take, especially where you get financial implication on the people, you get forget that kind heart for the people there. Everything at this country don't increase. Everything at the country and waiting make them increase now because of the taxes, because of the financial burden on the people. And I tell you, even though then they get money, then they protect money they lost past the way you know ever lost in this country. Go to the Auditor General's report. Yeah? Take APC the last 3 years. Let me say 2015, 2016, 2017.
Honorable,
the total money.
We go bring experts them for that area for talk about
Now make una say the debate now for members of parliament.
Yes.
This now document when a parliament gets her. So Mr. said they strain while they argue with somebody we not to member of parliament. Will not be privileged to them facts and figures there.
Honorable Kabo,
continue
you know,
for
say
them
we
to
constrain
program.
the program, and you go accept that for
We dey
this
bring
program.
the minister
I
for
think parliamentary issues not to any secret society, now public issues.
Well, now for don't left the game
And
open.
being-
Like going to the facts and
being-
figures.
Being an executive member also of state, I'm also equally so privy to some of those things you're talking about. It's just quite unfortunate, but perhaps I just bumped into the program. But that does not mean I can still not speak to the issues the way they raise, and especially for the one that way they're not factual. Talking about me just to sum up now, because actually he has said all he wants to say to the public for misinform the public. The one thing we're very clear to the public now this country are. Now the fact say the APC mentioned say then they do agriculture, youth in agriculture. When they organize the commission of inquiry, we all see the youth in agriculture where APC do in this country. We go to the farm, we go see it. If that youth in agriculture where you donors the money then go into, this country money go into, the tractors the way them bring can, then we properly utilize them. Today there would have been a very significant shift, right, in the economy of this country. But because of the youth in agriculture, what they do, now them tractors they would then take into their own personal use, and also the farming where they say that they do. Now the one will go see when elephant grass will go see now the youth farm. Now that makes today where this country still not able for export anything. This country still a net importing country. Everything now bring with the bringer. So every crisis will happen at the world, it affect you as a country. So when we say we love Alicam, when we say we love with people in this country, when we come sit on the radio, let us say the truth. I think the only leader where APC don't ever get where I always will respect for now President Momo. When he comes sit on President Stevens in failure, he able to be bold enough and tell the people of this country, say, in sorry because he don't fail with.
Lima, I don't know
But
this.
over time, the APC, they send a new APC, we see him for be the worst APC than Shaka Stevens APC. I don't know which type of
Lima,
APC they will
if you
come
please
to.
speak to
You know,
the issue.
those are the issues.
Lima.
Now the fact.
Lima.
So he get for rigmarole.
Lima.
I'm very
He
focused.
dey rigmarole, he not get the facts, he not get the figures.
The government choose for remove subsidy from fuel. Now, the issue about removing subsidy, now the very APC go meet IMF back for loan, for put debt for this country. And when you go take money from IMF, you got to do them called IMF conditionalities. And now for make IMF actually release the money, then give una, then get certain conditions they want to get from it. And so if you see fuel subsidy is removed, these are part of the IMF conditionalities where this country will get for fulfilled. And over and above that, this government, now the only government for sure say it is sorry for the people. Anytime we fuel price go down at the world, this government they make sure say at the camp, it takes certain government policies for make sure say we reduce
fuel price right now in the
right?
world market.
Now when prices go up,
You
now
know,
what the government they do, the government is proactive. The government they go ahead and make sure say it try for prevent traders there, right? Make them not over exceed the prices of fuel will go affect the people.
Quick one.
Government they come with prices where they know say at least it's reasonable for the consumers and at the same time it's reasonable for the people themselves for the trade. So this they tall you how government serious.
In 1 hour, in almost 1 hour 30 minutes, Abdul Kabo don't point at issues them way. According to Ram, he point at the suffering of the masses. You agree that suffering there among the people due to economic issues. You agree with that?
No. Listen, if Honorable Abdul Kabo talk about suffering on the masses, now just that I don't highlight to you. Yeah. If only APC been work well for this country.
But you don't know the driving seat for 4 years.
Who's 4 years?
You expect for
You don't
April
know the
make 4
driving
years.
seat for 4 years. Now that make we still able to manage the rottenness where we inherit, the bad image where we inherit. Now that make we don't work very hard for preserve the good name of this country, for make sure say the burden way for don't. If I let me tell you one thing, if now APC be in power, so tell let this country be don't go bad off because
The
for
people
just
in the miss APC right now.
just
People they miss APC right now
corruption,
because APC not they remove subsidy per fuel. APC not they remove subsidy per fuel.
They miss the
APC they calm everything down. APC let the people there.
I'm not very sure say Salonians are really ready for APC anymore.
Lima, now we look at the way forward. We don't get few pointers from Honorable Abdul Kabo and Yusuf don't try for respond to some of their issues. Then they going forward as a government in power, and we don't say 2023 elections there around the corner with all the issues there. Waiting the SLPP government for reduce some of the issues the way the citizens they complain about.
In terms of what SLPP government get for reduce some of the burden on with people, and first of all, as a country, we get for make sure say we be an exporting country. That now one way, of course, the economy will stabilize, and we go for help investment as well in the country. Okay. And how we go be an exporting country. Now that's this government they do in what we call the human capital development. Human capital development, they look at how much would they also educate the country in population, because that self now a product we will sell in the world. Now, when you also look at agriculture, we're not part of the human capital development program. When then they said when we properly establish and it kickstart a fully take in course, where for which the president and in team also they in our countries where they don't make improvement in their areas and and when we partner well, and then they also know the kickstart within a year or two. Again, for take time. When they don't properly take them full operation in this country, we all see the significant U-turn in the economy of this country, where it will better the lives of we people in this country.
Thank you very much. Lahai Lawrence Lima, in the National Publicity Secretary for the Salone People's Party. Well, now they end the program. Good morning, Salone. We're not getting enough time, Honorable. Thank you very much, Honorable Abdul Kago, where you self come to the program and talk about some of the issues then. Well, we end the program. Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Kumana then produce the program. DJ Cliff give technical support. Usman Kamara and they make una watch we live on our Facebook page. Mina Khadija Bangura, they wish you all a blessed day.
And Musa Kamara, they say bye-bye.